A. Smith Show starts right now.
The Stephen A. Smith Show here with you for the next hour over the national airwaves of ESPN Radio and ESPN News. Number to call up as always is 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. The Stephen A. Smith Show. 250-plus markets across the United States of America. Check your AM/FM listing. Plus ESPN Radio on SiriusXM Channel 80, ESPN News Television, as well as Stephen A. Smith Show is being brought to you by mycomputercareer.edu. Training for a better life. Plus, the biggest concerts and games to the hottest theater, shows, and more. Vivid Seats has it all. Download the app and join the Vivid Seats Rewards loyalty program today. Before I get to the phones for the first time today, let me tell you about Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones was speaking about Ezekiel Elliot following a performance in preseason by Tony Pollard, who ran for over 40 yards or something like about 4 or 5 carries, something like that. And Jerry Jones just felt the need to rave and jokingly took a shot at Ezekiel Elliot. Listen to what he had to say.
Zeke who?
He's got you on camera.
We're having some fun. Not at your expense.
Jerry Jones obviously was joking, but according to our very own Chris Mortensen, Ezekiel Elliott was not amused by Saturday's Zeke who comment. Thought it was disrespectful, according to his agent. He said, I didn't think it was funny, and neither did Zeke. We actually thought it was disrespectful. Rocky Arsenault told ESPN's Chris Mortensen on Monday afternoon. To Rocky and Ezekiel Elliott, stop. Just stop. Really, just stop. He's Jerry Jones. He can joke around. He can make a joke like that. He's the one that's been paying you. He wasn't joking when he had to pay you despite the fact that you missed 6 games. I'll tell you that much. He wasn't joking when your absence cost him a playoff berth. Wasn't joking then. It was not a joke when the commissioner had to call you up to the league office because you found yourself in another situation, although no charges were filed against you. It wasn't a joke then. You see, when you have a questionable history involving your behavior, be happy somebody's actually laughing and joking about you instead of being ultra serious because they're disgusted by you. Stop. Rocky Arsenault, from what I'm being told, has a very, very good reputation as an agent. I'm not trying to cast any aspersions on him whatsoever. Ezekiel Elliott, you're a stud. 2-time league leading rusher in the 3 seasons that you've been in the National Football League. Bell cow, 322 carries your rookie year. 304 carries last year. Walk around rushing for 1,200 yards. We know what you bring to the table. Ran for over 1,400 yards last year. We know what a stud you are. And based on your level of production, let me be the first to say, you should be one of the top paid running backs in all of football if it was just about your ability. No question about it. But you ain't been a model citizen. Matter of fact, you've acted like a knucklehead. And the owner joking around, just joking around because you know that's how Jerry can be. Stop. Stop. Don't try to make this into a serious issue. Gee, we didn't find it funny at all, and neither did Ezekiel Elliott. Well, you know what? You're not funny. You're not funny when you're not in camp. You're not funny when you're not there running the football. You're not funny when you get suspended for games. You're not funny when you're a headline on the back pages, and it's never for a football reason. You're not funny then. When you show you know how to act, continuously and repeatedly as a professional, then maybe you get to be sensitive to stuff like that. Other than that, get over it. Because here's the reality of the situation. Jerry Jones can say what the hell he wants to say. Why? Because he has the money you seek. And number two, he has your rights. Because you're locked in for the next 2 years before you can be franchised the third year. Let's remember that. Stop sticking out your chest and walking around like you the one in control. You're not. Zeke will get his money because he deserves his money. Because people like me won't hesitate to tell him he deserves his money. And he should get his money from Jerry Jones. But it's Jerry Jones's to give. It ain't for yours to take. Because you don't have that kind of position. And those are the facts. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News. Let's go to Mel. You're live with Stephen A. Talk to me, Mel. How are you?
Hey, what's going on, Stephen A? I just wanted to say that African American, I'm one of the people that supported Colin Kaepernick in his protest, his boycott against the NFL. You know, I stood with him. I mean, not standing with him, but, you know, I didn't watch any games in, like 3 years. The minute Colin Kaepernick got the settlement, for me personally, my boycott was over. Because I feel like he settled and he was kind of silent when he had his foot on the NFL's neck. He chose to go that way. I'm not mad at him. You know, that's the route he chose. But he didn't say anything. He kept quiet about everything. He just took the check, him and Eric Reed, and that was the end of it. So I think people are confusing the kneeling that he did in the beginning to bring awareness versus the grievance against the NFL for being punished for what he did, all right? So we already have the awareness when Jay-Z. Everybody's aware what it is now. Nobody's confusing with the flag or kneeling or disrespecting the flag or anything. We all know what it is now. So, me personally, if Jay-Z just said, you know what, I signed an entertainment deal with the NFL, why would I have a problem with that? People don't have a problem with African-American quarterbacks doing the job, getting paid, running backs, coaches, and so on. So why would I have a problem with Jay-Z?
How about, Hey, Mel.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Mel. I got something else to throw at you. You ready?
Yes.
How about not having a problem with it? Because one could argue Colin Kaepernick took his settlement money to sit down and shut up. We ain't heard a word from him.
And that's my
Ever
point.
since
I think people.
ever since that settlement took place, right? Isn't it true that the only thing we've seen from Colin Kaepernick is a tweet showing that he's still working out and ready to go?
Yep.
That's the only thing. The only thing. That's all we've heard.
And it's not to the point right now is that people got to understand it's not about him, getting a job. It's not even about the NFL, forcing the NFL, right, to do something about social injustice, because the NFL aren't the ones out there killing innocent African Americans in the streets. Now, if they want to do something to help out or bring awareness and do different programs, fine with it. But we got to stop acting like Jay-Z has to do some social injustice. Even if he just did an entertainment deal and did all the performances and stuff like that, fine, let it go. But the whole social injustice thing is just something that, is good that the NFL is open to right now. And I want to
I said, I got you, and you're right, and I appreciate the call. Thank you. Because the reality is that the NFL, and this is the other part that we don't have to worry about, the NFL doesn't have to do anything. No one brings that up. The NFL does not have to do anything because the NFL is not who Kenny Stills, Colin Kaepernick, Eric Reed were protesting against. Colin Kaepernick did tweet yesterday. He said, my brothers, Eric Reed, Kenny Stills, and I forgot who this is. I think I see 12, whoever that is. I think that's Albert Wilson as well, receiver for the Miami Dolphins. Colin Kaepernick says, continue to fight for the people, even in the face of death threats. They have never moved past the people and continue to put their beliefs into action. Stay strong, brothers. Okay. So they're taking a knee and people are hating on them and, they're strong. And one of the things that, and I don't disagree with it. I just think that one of the things that rubbed me the wrong way is that there's a lot of people out here doing different things for the same causes and putting up the good fight. Some of them get death threats too. Some of them don't. But there's a whole bunch of people out here fighting. And Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed and the crew just give you this impression. Unless you march directly in lockstep with their belief and their methodology, you ain't worth a damn. That's just the impression they give. And that kind of rubs me the wrong way. You know, we got battles in corporate America every day. Y'all don't know about that. Jay-Z's got his battles. Dr. Harry Edwards has had numerous types of battles and continue to have battles. Ladies and gentlemen, you got people in the Players Association battling. You got people in the NFL league office battling. You got folks in the media battling all the time. But if you don't march directly in lockstep with them, you the problem. You're an enabler. You're a contributor because you don't do things the way they do them. And what have they done? You've taken a knee. You've brought attention. Well, guess what? These are the things that have happened. So now what? Which brings me back to Eric Reed. Are you protesting about racial oppression, racial inequality? Or are you protesting about Colin Kaepernick? And if you're protesting about Colin Kaepernick, say so we can ask the question as to why that is. Did not Colin Kaepernick have an opportunity in Baltimore, Denver, Seattle, and Miami to get jobs since he protested? Yes or no? Why didn't he get those protests? You might sit up there and say, well, you know what? Because he wasn't willing to abandon his principles and refuse to take a knee. That's true. And Eric Reed is still taking a knee, and he's got an NFL job. But it's a double-edged sword because you called out Jay-Z, but you're still taking a check from the NFL. The Carolina Panthers are under the umbrella of the National Football League. So why is it free and okay for you to get a check, but for Jay-Z not to? Or for JC to do so, it's selling out. And if we want to get away from that issue, and instead what we want to do is we want to focus on Colin Kaepernick. Well, Colin Kaepernick was paid when he played. I don't recall him getting fired by the San Francisco 49ers. He opted out. And his inability to get a job, we can sit up there and say he shouldn't have to forfeit giving up a knee in protest. It's not a part of NFL bylaws. He is certainly not against the law constitutionally. He should be allowed to take a knee without any repercussions. But an owner can sit up there and say, damn that, it's my team. This fan base is my constituency. They're who patronize my product. And if they give me the opportunity, if they give me the impression that it's going to cost me dollars, why should I let you, who was 3-16 in your last 19 starts, 1-10 in your last 11 starts, to cost me more dollars? Owner has a right to ask that question. I'll tell you where it can really get deep. An owner can have the right to ask the question, excuse me, did you get paid? Because, by the way, we don't think you're a starter. You're a backup, but you got $10 million from us in the settlement. They got a right to ask that question. What would be your answer? Which brings me to my big, big, big problem. Ladies and gentlemen, I never thought I'd say this, but damn it, I'm going to say this. And I'll preface my comment by saying that, you know what? Colin Kaepernick may very well be silent because it might be a part of the settlement. But all I know is this. Most of the stuff we hear from is via tweets. We ain't seen Colin Kaepernick do any interviews. We ain't seen him talk to anybody. Why not? Why is that relevant? Because if it's a part of the settlement agreement, that means you allowed them to silence you. But number one, you swore you wouldn't be silenced. And number two, you keep encouraging dudes who ain't silent. So where is it? Where's it going? I'm just wondering. Jay, you're live with Stephen A. What's up?
Stephen A., I hope you hear me out, brother. But I hope the NFL announced that this is actually an entertainment deal or a deal to fight social oppression and social equality. Because in my view, to be honest with you, I agree with Eric Reed. I believe that, like you alluded to, Jay-Z is worth over $900 million. Him and Beyonce as a couple are worth an assets of $1.2 billion. And I feel like he didn't do it for the money. Cardi B, Rihanna.
Stop right there. Stop. Hold on a second. Hold it. You said Jay-Z is worth over $900 million?
$900 million, yes, sir.
And you said that the combination of him and Beyonce is worth around $1.2 billion?
That's up over 1.2
Because
billion,
that's only attaching $300 million to Beyonce. And I'm like, where's your math? Beyonce worth a hell of a lot more than that.
Well, when I checked
Okay, go ahead.
earlier, okay, and I agree with, like I said, what Eric Reed said. They're attaching a black face to it because Rihanna, Jay-Z, and even Cardi B refused to perform at the halftime performances. Now he's in charge of it. So all they're doing is using him to get the orders to come out. Travis Scott faced a lot of criticism.
But time out. Here's my problem with what you're saying. How do you know? As Dr. Harry Edwards just echoed from me from a few days ago, he hasn't done anything yet. Why don't we wait and see? You don't know what Jay-Z's gonna do. Why not wait and see? Why not simply sit here and demand that we see? I have no problem if black people stand up and go like this. Yo, man, this is what we need to see if you're going to do this partnership with the NFL. There's nothing wrong with that. But we're condemning him before we've seen anything. Why are we doing that, Jay?
Let me counter that with something. Again, he's worth over $900 million. He don't need the NFL to fight social oppression or social injustice. He grew up in poverty. He know what it feels to grow up in the inner city. Do it yourself. You don't need no NFL
Stop.
to
Wait a minute. The National Football League is the #1 sports league in America. You always need help. No matter what. No matter how righteous your cause. No matter how much cachet you have, no matter how much money you have, the bottom line is you always need help. Why do you think you constantly see billionaires imploring others to get involved? Because they can't do it by themselves, bro. That's been our issue throughout history. You can't do it by yourself. Oprah was a billionaire and still asking for assistance. Barack Obama was the president but still asked for your vote. And don't get me started with how the black community didn't show up and go to the polls and vote during this last election. 2 million less people showed up to the polls to vote for Hillary Clinton than showed up to vote for Barack Obama. But you want to complain about our system when you had an opportunity to impact it and you didn't take advantage of it. Now, which one is it?
What I'm saying.
You can't have it all, bro.
Get my point.
Can't do it by yourself. You can't do it by yourself.
Let me ask you something. Who is the more influential individual in hip hop today?
Him.
Exactly.
Him. Jay-Z.
Between
hold
him,
on, wait a minute.
Exactly my point.
But it's not. But hold on. Time out. It wasn't like he wasn't doing anything before. He spoke out on behalf of Colin Kaepernick. He contributed to disseminating the message that Colin Kaepernick was being victimized. He wasn't silent in that equation. So what I'm saying to you is that there's still more to do. What's wrong with being in a position to potentially influence the National Football League? What's wrong with that?
Back to my point, Steve. He brings me back to my point. Even he rejected the halftime for performance in support of Cap. So now you're going to be in charge of the same thing that you refused to do? How?
It's not that. It's so not that because that's. Stop. Because that's ignorant. That's flat out ignorant. He is not doing the same thing. Him being a halftime performer is entirely different than him being in charge of halftime while at the same time working in concert with the National Football League to address social injustices. That is not the same as showing up on one Sunday afternoon in February to perform for 15 minutes. You don't see the difference?
You're right. No, you're right. But he got charged to hire
I'm right.
Won't do it.
I'm right. Stop there. You ain't making no damn sense. Goodbye. 15 minutes. Or having a seat in the room to influence. Now, Jay-Z has to be held accountable to show up and produce. I get that part. But don't tell me that that's the same as performing for 15 minutes at halftime one Sunday. That's just ignorant. Gabrielle, you're live with Stephen A.
Yo, Stephen A.
Gabrielle or Gabriel? Gabriel? Is that right?
Gabriel.
Gabriel. My apologies. Gabriel.
My bad. Hey, from Alabama, I got to say Roll Tide, but I got to say this when it comes down to it. It's hypocritical. You know, you look at it just like you brought out. You got Eric Reed holding down the job. He's not sitting back protesting saying, well, I'm not going to work in the NFL because of the fact that Cap not got a job. So if he's not willing to do that, why you expect Jay-Z to do the same thing? And then when I look at it, Stephen A., and you speak about it all the time, it's really a culture thing. All the people who are going against Jay-Z, they sitting up, they in his pocket. This is a man trying to affect change, trying to make some money at the same time. Let him do what he got to do. He stood up. He's done his part. He's going to do even more. But we got people who just call. We got people who listen on television, things like that. And the whole thing is, oh, Jay-Z wrong, Jay-Z wrong. Jay-Z not wrong. If nothing else, we as the people, we wrong for trying to judge him like that. And really come down to it, Stephen A., there's a bunch of jealousy going on.
Gabriel, I appreciate the call, man, because here's the thing. Those folks might be right. I doubt it. Not the Jay-Z I know. I think that Jay-Z's going to do what he intended to do because I think he's real, and I don't think that he's going to compromise our community the way some people think he is. But I have no problem with people demanding that he doesn't. My issue with people is that they're judging before he's done anything. Give the man a chance and see what he does. That's all I'm saying. Give him a chance to see what he does, as opposed to being presumptive in your beliefs that he ain't going to do a damn thing that he has sold to soul. Jay-Z does not deserve to be accused of selling out without any evidence that is what has happened. We don't know yet. We will find out soon enough. 888-ESPN, it's 888-729-3776. We'll continue talking about this. Plus, I want to say this about Josh Gordon and the New England Patriots. I need an explanation as to why Bill Belichick has Josh Gordon on his team. Josh Gordon is an addict. I don't say that disrespectfully. I don't say that flippantly. He's an addict. He's been suspended on multiple occasions for violating the league's drug policy. We know this. He's had numerous chances. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve another chance. I'm saying I'm shocked that Bill Belichick keeps providing them. It is quite surprising. This is going to be his third go-round with the team, at least if I remember correctly. We'll talk about that and then some after the break. You're listening live, Stephen A., ESPN Radio, ESPN News. By the way, Stephen A. Special on ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Commercial insurance through Progressive protects your business and your dream. Choose from over 30 coverage options at progressivecommercial.com.